Many great authors throughout history have said that truth is stranger than fiction, and nothing represents that point more than the drama involving ScammerPayback that I've been covering on this channel for the past few weeks. Much like a Shakespearean play or a HBO series like Game of Thrones, you never know what you're going to find around every corner. So many twists and turns. In fact, that's what makes us like shows so much. Just when you think you know what's going on, bam, out of nowhere, there's a whole new aspect that we have to worry about. And while we've defeated Collins and he's taken down all his slanderous videos, we still have so many more people to take a look at, because after all, he was a small fish in a big pond of fishes that were organizing this campaign against ScammerPayback. And while we're not completely done with Collins, because there will be a portion of this video focused on him, it's time to pull back the curtain and see who was pulling the strings behind the scenes. Let's go. So if you're not familiar with the story where we're at right now, I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version of it. If you want to go check out the videos before this, I suggest clicking the links in the description below though. So the Cliff Notes version of this story is, in 2021, ScammerPayback had a Discord, and in that Discord, the mods kind of just did whatever they wanted to. Pierogi kind of hung out with them, but he wasn't really like super involved in the Discord, so the mods kind of ran the whole dang thing. Pierogi's brother-in-law, Brandon, who had a previous YouTube channel that was very successful, decides to join ScammerPayback as partners with Pierogi. Brandon joins there, being business-oriented, decides, you know what, there's a lot of really bad stuff going on in this Discord. I think we need to distance ourselves from it, or just flat out eradicate it altogether. This obviously didn't sit well with the mods that were in there, so they pretty much rebelled and questioned a lot of things that Brandon was doing. But Brandon, being half owner of ScammerPayback at this point, was basically like, I don't know why you Discord Jannies or even telling me this stuff. You know what? I don't even know why I'm entertaining you. Get the out. All right, you're all fired. So bans all them from the Discord. This obviously doesn't sit well with the mods who were banned from the Discord, so they decide to start their own Discord, to where they come up with all these ideas on how they can get Pierogi back. The Hina stuff drops, then a couple more people filter out thinking, out there, Pierogi. Basically using the whole Hina thing as an opportunity to attack Pierogi, even though half of them didn't like Hina while she was in the Discord. All right, you guys all caught up? Good, great, got it. Let's go from there. This guy in front of you is former member Collins. We're going to call him Collins because I obviously am not going to dox his full names, but he also went by Orange Hoodie Guy, who also released a couple videos basically trying to call out Pierogi for being a terrible person, called out Brandon for basically being a control freak, claimed they both were predators, which I find ironic, and I'm going to show you in just a few seconds. Turns out Collins was a real big piece of crap though, because one, he didn't show any evidence. He didn't back up any of the claims he made at all, because frankly, those claims just seemed to be false claims that he was making in honor of trying to hurt them. I released a few videos pretty much pointing out the hypocrisy behind Collins. I guess the mounting pressure was just too much for Collins to deal with, so he ended up just taking all of his videos down. Probably the best move. However, before we go into the rest of the clan that was behind Collins, I wanted to point this out. I received an email, and during Collins' initial videos, he used to say that he did a lot of really terrible things while he was in that Discord.
During that time, I did things I was both proud of, both not proud of, behaved in a way that was morally gray at the minimum. It put my marriage at risk. It put my family at risk. And it's because I was dealing with shit during COVID and I didn't know how to process it.
But nobody really knew exactly what those things were. Well, it turns out that somebody who was a victim of Collins came forward with a couple other victims of Collins while he was in that Discord. So before we jump into the rest of the gang that was helping Collins make these videos and pushing him to do it, I thought it'd be important to show just the kind of person they all chose to represent them. Now, I'd like to preface this by saying this is an email I received, but the person who emailed it to me also gave me receipts providing evidence to back up all the claims they made in this email. Before we jump into the evidence, though, I want to play some excerpts from this email just to give you an idea of just the kind of guy Collins was while he was in this Discord. I also want to point out, if you have an inkling of who this person is, Collins or C. Jones, when you watch this, and you end up harassing them and I hear about it, I will not hesitate to let everybody know on the internet that you are harassing victims of unwanted sexual attention. So just be forewarned that if you tried to go find this person and I find out about it, I will let the rest of the internet know. I know that you have this issue with threatening people or trying to intimidate people. Do not do that to this person.
I joined ScammerPayback in February 2021, and I was in the community up until the beginning of January 2024. I hadn't watched scam baiting before, but because a relative had been scammed, I was intrigued, and that is how I became a member of the community. I wasn't a very active or a well-known member. I always preferred to be in the shadows. But I experienced, witnessed, and have been told by others about the toxicity of former members of the ScammerPayback community. The group of people who are actively attacking the reputation of Pierogi. When I joined, I was quickly added to the Dad chat role. Discord after dark. I was active many days of the week in Dad chat. From the start of my membership in ScammerPayback to the time it was deleted. The server was always 18 plus and Dad chat was where people could hang out with less rules imposed upon them. Being adapted to certain behaviors of people given my long history of online gaming, their antics were not new to me. The drinking, cussing, sexual but innocent jokes being made. I've seen it all before. I would like to state that I wasn't an avid drinker and did not partake in the debauchery that came with the drinking. I was more of an observer. I was attempting to socialize again and ScammerPayback was one of the first communities I happened upon. I wanted friends and people to hang out with as I healed, being distractions from the pain I felt. I was raw and wounded, but my guard was up after suffering abuse. I was not in the mindset for flirtations and sexual attention, but that is what I got from Collins. No other communication other than in Dad chat as a group. We had hung out in Dad chat, passing comments between everyone like sexual innuendos, harmless jokes, drinking and the usual late-night antics people get into. At some point I cannot pinpoint for sure, Collins decided to private message me innocent jokes and we started talking. And he told me about his wife not allowing him to be himself and how suffocating it was. I came to learn this was a tactic for sympathy. These topics were also discussed in the voice chat where the others were. As I said, I am a private person who was trying to learn how to socialize again. There was drinking in the Dad voice chat and Collins did a lot of it. It did not surprise me when the private messages between us turned into him trying to flirt with me. As a longtime female gamer, I've had dick pictures sent to me, unwanted advances and many uncomfortable situations. I am also in the mindset that I am not a babysitter and should not have to tell adults how to act. They should know how to behave. Being an observant person, I studied Collins to see how far he would take his comments, how long it would take him to realize that I was not engaging with his advances, and how long it would take him to stop. When he saw that I wasn't reacting in an interested way the first time he tried to flirt, he finally asked me if I was uncomfortable. I answered, yes, I am and I do not appreciate flirting, especially since you are married. His response was to ask why I allowed him to speak that way and I was honest that I was observing him to see how far he'd take it before he realized he was being a horny idiot. I also stated I should not have to tell him how to behave. He should be aware. Afterwards, he thanked me for telling him this and that he would try to do better. Collins thanked me for putting up boundaries. But this new respectful behavior did not last long. This was only the first time of many instances where he would be drunk and attempt to flirt with me. Each time, I watched and waited to see how long he'd realize his behavior. I realized with the first occurrence that Collins would not be a safe person to joke about anything sexual, no banter, no innuendos, because he was too eager to take it too far. But I continued to try and be his friend. I always want people to be the best versions of themselves and Collins was no different in my eyes. But he continued to push my boundaries. It became apparent that anything I said would be turned into fodder for him to flirt with me. For instance, Collins would ask me if he should drink alcohol on some nights. Him being an adult, I would say he should if he wants to. That was turned around on me. He would state that I know how he gets flirtatious, and that I was enabling him to behave that way towards me. That I must want him to flirt with me since I was encouraging him to drink. That was not what I said or meant, but he would twist my words against me to excuse his drinking and subsequent flirting attempts. Collins would not stop. I never knew what to expect with him and did not feel like I could safely be myself around him. He would also send me private videos of himself outside. At his apartment complex, Collins was planning a meetup with a male member of ScammerPayback who happened to live in my state. Collins wanted to come meet me as well. Again, I am a private person and said no to meeting up. I do not know if I am the person he bought a plane ticket with plans to visit, but a meetup with me was on his mind. The final straw with Collins' behavior was one night. Again, he was drinking, and he sent me a random picture of his crotch. It was of his khaki shorts, but the message was clear. Crotch shot. At this point, I was done trying to see if he would grow up, mature and not be a scumbag. He would thank me for putting up boundaries, countless times saying he needed to be put in his place. I think he does have a sub/dom kink and he wanted me as a dom. He would cross my boundaries again and again. I put up with his shit for months, wanting to speak out and not knowing if I would be taken seriously, and because he was friends with Pierogi, Brandon, and other prominent members of the ScammerPayback community, I stayed quiet. I did not think anyone would believe me or care. Collins acted like everything was fine. When I went quiet on him, not responding to his messages, he didn't seem to realize or care that he had been victimizing me for months for his own pleasure. My being well versed in the words and actions of horny online men does not mean I deserve to be treated this way. He wanted to stay friends as if I hadn't told him no, stop. He was fully aware of the abuse I had suffered and how raw I was. I took the pain of letting my ex stay in my life longer than I should have and used it to steel myself to remove and block Collins. I was done. It felt empowering to champion for myself this time. It took me a while to see that he wasn't going to change and be an improved version of himself. I did what I needed to do, even if it took me longer than I care to admit. I needed to toughen up, and I did. I thought it was over. Then I was made aware of his other victims in the fall of 2021. There are at least 5 to 6 women, including myself, that I am aware of. One being, at the time in 2021, a 17 to 18-year-old. She is from and his excuse was that she was legally an adult over there. Sometimes her would be hanging out in dad chat, allowing Collins to flirt and be inappropriate, never standing up for the victim, saying she was a big girl who could handle herself. None of the women except for one were comfortable with his attention. This woman is older than 40s and was a willing participant, but take that with a grain of salt. Every night, she was drunk and high on Ambien and was highly susceptible under those influences. Collins and this woman engaged in sexual actions such as private video calls where photos and videos were shared between them and sexual acts done on camera. She told me this herself when she realized she was not the only person Collins was being inappropriate with. She blames herself and does not see herself as a victim, but she too was in a vulnerable spot in her life and he took advantage of that and her substance use. She has since left ScammerPayback. Another regular from Dad Chat left ScammerPayback because of the harassment from Collins. I did not know her well, but she was a sweet, kind woman who also suddenly disappeared in 2021 and never returned to the community. One victim was in her mid-20s and same as the other victims, dealing with stressful and painful situations in her day-to-day. This victim was vulnerable like the rest of us. She was naive about online activities and behaviors of people and being around drunk people. She was very sheltered. Collins took a liking to her and would message her. As is his tactic, it started innocent, under the guise of friendship. They spoke about common interests and likes, but it turned nasty very fast and this victim did not know how to handle it. In some instances, while everyone in Dad Chat was on camera, including this woman, Collins would be in her private messages calling her a manipulative bitch, who knew what she was doing if she did simple things such as twirl her hair, a nervous act she does. She suffers from anxiety. He took her doing a self-soothing behavior as trying to make him horny. Yes, I said it. Collins was verbally abusing this woman for doing things like nervously twirling her hair around her finger. But it does not stop there. She went to Charlie and C. Jones, ScammerPayback mod and admin, about the harassment. Charlie ignored her, trying to filter and prevent this from being told to Pierogi. C. Jones, the admin, sided with Collins. Collins enlisted C. Jones in harassing this woman and to get her personal information. Collins is not the only predator in ScammerPayback. C. Jones used his resources and what little information this woman had given, like vague location and her first name. She made the simple, benign mistake of wearing the merchandise of the company she worked for one night in Dad Chat, and Jones found her address, full name, and gave it to Collins. Collins then sent this woman unwanted gift cards in her legal name and other gifts to her address and stated he wanted to meet up to explore similar hobbies they shared. Collins and C. Jones doxed and harassed this woman. C. Jones found her on Facebook and messaged her because he could. This victim was doxed, harassed, and was scared for her life and had no one to go to but a former ScammerPayback mod and friends to tell her story. This is when I became aware that I wasn't the only victim of Collins and how deep it went. I was informed by this victim and former mod about the other victims of Collins. This woman went to other members in the community for help and to make them aware of what Collins had done to her. To warn them about Collins. She was not believed and was harassed by a couple of the older ladies in the community. Cornered while in a voice chat alone with these hags, she was grilled about Collins and his actions towards her, not once but twice. These older ladies waited for this victim's friends, including myself, to not be around. They pounced on her because she had the courage to tell them what their friend Collins had done. One of these ladies is Draco, also known as Malesovsky2764 on YouTube. She has been seen in the comments of Collins' now removed videos. She can also be seen in the comments of channels covering Collins' attack on Pierogi. Draco is a woman who is aware of and condones Collins' treatment of other women. She claims to have talked him out of booking a plane ticket to go see another woman, but that is highly unlikely given her excuses for his behavior and attack on this particular victim. Other older women have ignored his behavior towards this victim and myself. I informed who I thought was a friend about Collins and was brushed off by this lady, a lady who claimed to care about me as much as a mother. Collins made a private server for Dad Chat members after Brandon and Pierogi deleted Dad Chat in the official ScammerPayback Discord server. He made private voice chats for certain women in the server, myself included, so that he could hang out with us special girls alone. None of us wanted these channels, he made them without asking. I know of 3 channels. One for me, the girl he and C. Jones doxed, and 17 to 18-year-old. I would like to mention that Collins' original account where he did most of the harassing was deleted near the start of 2022. I had this account blocked on Discord and it disappeared one day from my block list. He would remake his account then return to the ScammerPayback Discord server, despite claims that he hated Pierogi, Brandon, and the community. He left and rejoined about 4 to 5 times with 4 to 5 different accounts. A couple instances he used names different from Collins to sneak in, but the last being blatant, calling himself Orange Hoodie. Pierogi did know there were victims of Collins. He was told there were several and he wanted someone to come forward. I was in contact with the woman Collins and C. Jones had doxed and she did not want to relive the trauma. We let it go. Her being the most victimized and my friend, I left the choice to her. But Collins had returned yet again and I wanted to speak up once and for all. On March 14th, 2023, I went to Pierogi and gave the testimony of my experience.
So this person's original message read, "Hello Pierogi, you don't know me well, but I've been in the community for about 2 years. I wanted to tell you that I am a victim of Collins and he harassed me via DMs. It began in the dad chat at first. Collins seemed like a safe person to talk to. I saw a security risk and informed him. He stated that he would talk to Brandon about it. It didn't take long for him to start sexualizing me in ways that I didn't consent to, and then he blamed it on his drinking. He would flirt and say things that made me uncomfortable, and if I said anything about it, again, the drinking was blamed. He took aspects of my lifestyle to use for his sexual gain, despite me not being interested in him and reminding him of my disinterest. I also had to remind him several times that he is married. I put up boundaries on how he would speak to me in a respectful, non-sexual manner. He continued to push against them, and then would thank me for making him behave himself around me. Anything I said, he tried to turn sexual, and it made me uneasy to speak to him. He attempted to talk me into doing a meetup. He was planning to come to my state to meet another SP member and tried to have me be included in his trip. I told him no, I would not meet him, but he thought he could persuade me. Even with me informing him that I was not interested, he decided to send me a crotch shot of the shorts he was wearing one night. Again, blaming it on his drinking when I didn't give him the reaction he desired. I told him I didn't appreciate the unwanted picture. Eventually, I realized that he was not going to stop harassing me. I began to ignore his messages and block that account. Said account was soon deleted, but when it pops back up into the server, I have to block the new one he created. Each account gets deleted and remade, renamed. He recently rejoined the server under the name Maverick, but showed him as Collins afterwards. I had to check my block list to make sure this account is indeed him. He has returned and left the server 3 to 4 times, different accounts, same name, other hashtags, as if he has done nothing wrong to me. I do not feel safe in the server and community knowing a predator like him is allowed to come and go as he pleases." To which then Pierogi at the time responds, "I'm sorry, I will make sure he is banned. Thank you for the prompt action and reply. I cannot express my gratitude enough. It is safe to assume that any other accounts he may join with will be banned on site."
He took me seriously and promised to ban Collins, apologizing that I had endured harassment. Collins was banned that morning. I felt relieved that he was gone. But then an account by the name of Orange Hoodie joined ScammerPayback in November 2023. I had taken a break from Discord during October to December, and when I returned, as per victims do, I checked the join logs in ScammerPayback. Imagine my feelings when I saw that an Orange Hoodie account had been in ScammerPayback in my absence. Pierogi had been warned that it was Collins. Pierogi decided to allow Collins to stay in the ScammerPayback Discord and wait and see what Collins would do. That is when I chose to leave ScammerPayback for good. I was not going to stay in a place that allowed a known predator and harasser to be amongst the members like a wolf. Pierogi had confirmation of a victim back in March 2023. I had come forward as he had requested. Collins was banned in March 2023. Instead of being banned on site, he was allowed to be in the server. It was time to leave the community. January 2024 was the end of my stay and support of Pierogi and ScammerPayback. So, that is the saga of the experience I and other women have had with Collins and C. Jones. I wanted stories about the victims of Collins to be known. He sought out women, not the other way around. My main goal is to let others know how much Collins glossed over in his videos. When he stated no photos or videos were shared, that was a lie. When he said it was all jokes and mutual, that was a lie. When he said he apologized to all that were made uncomfortable, that was a lie. Uncomfortable is not how I describe it.
First allow me to address the elephant in the room. Could Pierogi have done more to stop Collins from continuously re-entering his Discord? Yeah, but if he was telling his administrators and his moderators to ban Collins every time they see him and they were simply just ignoring them like you heard, then I can only fault Pierogi only so much. Really, it came down to the fact that he trusted his moderators to do the right thing and to listen to the people in the Discord, which clearly you could see by these emails they did not. It wasn't until she had to go to Pierogi that he actually did get banned. So I have a hard time putting a lot of this on Pierogi. After all, that's why he had admins and he had moderators to do that for him. Why he's busy chasing scammers, these moderators are supposed to be taking care of the Discord. Now with that out of the way, it's rant time. Dude, Collins, what in the ever-living fuck are you doing, dude? Like, why are you coming after these girls so aggressively? And you said in your video, you were like, oh, I'm getting so much attention from the opposite sex. Are you sure? Or were you just like, wow, there's so many options here. Let me just go and send my dick to everybody. I told you in the first video that you were sending your crotch. And in your video, you were like, oh, there's no pictures. Well, I guess now the cat's out of the bag. You were sending pictures. You were sending videos. You are a liar. Not to mention C. Jones and Charlie Echo Alpha, who are two people who are the leaders of this movement against ScammerPayback, knew about this going on and just pretty much didn't care. In fact, C. Jones went so far as to get information for Collins for these girls, to give them their private information. That is scumbaggy. Now we're gonna get back to Charlie Echo Alpha and C. Jones in a little bit. They are the final bosses. Those are the two heads of the snake that are really the leaders behind this whole movement. But there's a couple people we need to address first. But before we do that, some of you may remember that there was a video released that involved a panda with a voice modulator that was basically saying all this horrible stuff about ScammerPayback, how they were a fan, and recently all their stuff has come out, now they're not a fan anymore. And I told you in a previous video that I believe that it was Collins. Fun fact, if you don't know much about audio engineering, changing the pitch can be a great way to disguise your voice, lowering it, making it really deep. However, some of us who know how to manipulate WAV files can raise that pitch, almost returning it to where it was when it was being recorded. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you the original recording of the panda video, followed by us raising the pitch to where it was probably at when it was being recorded. And I want to just ask you, who does this kind of sound like?
Hello, my name is ScammerPayback Whistleblower, and I have very much been Team Pierogi over the past few weeks as information about him has been coming out. I didn't want to believe it was true, but more and more dots are starting to connect the truth that I simply cannot believe that he is the person I thought he was.
Hello, my name is ScammerPayback Whistleblower, and I have very much been Team Pierogi over the past few weeks as information about him has been coming out. I didn't want to believe it was true, but more and more dots are starting to connect the truth that I simply cannot believe that he is the person I thought he was. Hello everyone, it has been a while since some of you have probably seen me or heard my voice, and some of you are meeting me for the very first time.
Oh my god, this is so bad. This is how desperate they are. This is how desperate they are to try to paint Pierogi and ScammerPayback as bad. I mean, again, I told you guys, like, there's so many twists and turns throughout this whole thing. Like, I've never seen anything this desperate though on the internet. Never seen it in my life, and we haven't even gotten to the other people yet. Just wait. But anyway, okay, I think that's it. It was fun playing with you, man, but I think that that's checkmate. So I think it's safe to say that Collins is now off the board officially. What do we got him on? Buying plane tickets when he's married to go visit a girl who may or may not have just turned 18. Aggressively harassing girls in a Discord, which, no offense, but we kind of called in the beginning before I even got to know him. We have his good buddy C. Jones looking up information of girls he finds interesting in the Discord and then passing it to Collins so that he may begin to stalk and send them treats that were probably not expected or wanted by them girls. And now we have him obviously creating fraudulent content to try to slander Pierogi and ScammerPayback. I mean, that's like 3 strikes you're out, am I right? Anyway, see ya, buddy!
You're out of here.
Hi.
So now that Collins is off the board, who do we focus our attention on? Well, we know we got C. Jones, right? Because we just heard right there from a witness testimony that C. Jones was getting information and giving it to Collins to go stalk people. And then, of course, we have Charlie Echo Alpha, but I want to save her for last because she is the big boss. She is the one who is in charge of this whole thing. So there's 2 other people that I haven't talked about yet. One of them is named Trupti, or Troopty, however you say her name, who more or less just kind of floats in and out and posts comments and repost stuff, kind of like a Hina type figure. Oh well, yeah, we'll talk about Hina too a little bit, why not? But before we get to Trupti or to Hina, I want to talk about someone who goes by the name Winx. Now, I know most of you guys probably don't even know who that name is because we haven't talked about her at all. She may be the most important piece of this whole entire thing. Oh wait, Collins is over there. Let me get rid of him real quick. Ah, perfect, that's much better. Now that we're talking about Winx, we gotta have her up on the monitor, you know? You guys gotta know who I'm talking about here, or else this could get all quite confusing. So now let me tell you a little story about Winx. You know how I've said in previous videos that these people are obsessed with Discord, right? Discord this, Discord that, they gotta get their Discord privileges. How dare Pierogi take away my Discord channels?
You wouldn't dare.
And I said, well, why don't you guys just go create your own Discord? Well, that's exactly what they did. Now, the difference is, instead of ScammerPayback organized stuff, they are majorly focused on ScammerPayback itself. See, this Discord is where they launch all their assaults. I guess you could consider it like your headquarters for where they come up with all these stupid gay apps to go after Pierogi. And there's only one person who owns this server, and, well, that's Winx. So let's just talk a little bit about Winx and see how she feels about being being accused of owning this hate server that is pretty much the mecca for all these people to attack Pierogi and ScammerPayback. Now, let me just remind everybody, all right, I'm not giving out like real names, real addresses, any information that could have them be found in real life, because frankly, that's stuff that they do, not stuff that we do. So let them be the ones who dox people. Let them be the ones who get in trouble for doing all that cringy shit. We're trying to just simply show you why you should not stop supporting ScammerPayback and why these people are all full of shit. All right, I don't want anybody trying to find them, anybody trying to harass them. That is the last thing we want. In fact, somebody posted Colin's wife on X, and I had asked them to take it down because I just didn't find that appropriate. She didn't have anything to do with this. So let's be the morally superior ones, okay? Anyway, now back to Winx. So as far as I could tell, Winx was never really like a mod for ScammerPayback, but she was just kind of like a fan that somewhere along the lines all of a sudden decided she hates Pierogi and she hates ScammerPayback. But where she comes in at is that she is the one who owns these servers where these people congregate to launch attacks on ScammerPayback. It's like knowing that crime is going on in your business, but you don't do anything about it, which technically just makes you just as guilty. But hold that thought, because I'm going to show you some images that will show you that Winx knows exactly what's going on in her server and frankly just doesn't care. I mean, this is how serious she takes the public knowledge of this Discord server. Dear inner circle of trusted friends, I have completely locked this channel down to make it more secure. Those who do not have the Mount Vesuvius role can't even see the channel exists anymore, and it looks like I deleted it. Naughty, naughty, Winxie. This channel is now private to us. Please do not let it slip that it exists. As far as you all know, it was deleted. So if you look here, it's a post from Winx basically saying, I had a server that I deleted on 6/6 called SP Friends. People were fighting and being idiots, so it got deleted after my most trusted mod left. SP Friends was the server that originally was put together to go after ScammerPayback. The name has since changed. She continues on, some screenshots were taken and got released on X, formerly Twitter, against Redacted, when she started getting nasty with people talking negatively about Pierogi. I guess the SS contained her saying Pierogi was a narcissist or some other unkind things. In retaliation, she decided that it was my fault and that I shared what she wrote and doxed me heavily and 2 others. The posts were eventually taken down, but now she has threatened to re-release the doxing post. She doxed all of my socials, all of them, including my kid's Roblox account. So now she's involved my kids in this mess. This is so bad that I've now had to consult attorneys on what my next steps need to be. Her latest gripe, after she publicly posted on Twitter the dox information, someone screenshot and put it on Reddit. I don't use Reddit, I only use screenshots I've been sent. So she's freshly pissed about that and again blaming me. Let me make 2 things clear. 1, SP Friends has not existed since 6/6/24. Wow, that's only like a month ago. 2, I don't give a fuck about what SP does or the community. I pulled away for my own reasons. I will not stand for this. I will not stand for one of his mods doxing me, which will harm my kids. You know, Winx, I actually kind of agree with you that dragging people's kids into adult drama is not really cool. And in fact, you know, when you saw Collins do it, you should have probably stopped it, but instead you helped him make the panda video, which I found to be pretty interesting. You may be wondering, like, how do I know that? Well, just take a look here, what you said in the Discord. Let me just add that I was aware of this video and signed off on it. I just wanted to keep it quiet while we thought on it and wanted to ensure that it wouldn't come back to bite us in the ass. I should have kept everyone in the loop. That was my fault and falls solely on me. Going forward, I will do better and keep everyone in the loop of what's going on. Boy, I guess glad that thing didn't come back to bite you in the ass. What do you have to gain from Pierogi being shut down? Were you personally wronged by him? I'm having a hard time understanding. Like, do you just host this server because it's fun for you? I can't imagine being the owner of a server that I know is basically used as a platform to organize attacks towards someone and not having a problem with that person myself. But sure, let's act like SP Friends has been taken down 6/6. All right. So what about the new server though? Like, why is that still up? Most people would understand that if you don't want to be involved in drama and you don't want to be dragged into it, and you're the person who owns the server where literally all the drama's coming from, maybe it's best time to close down that server. I don't know. That's just my thought, but what do I know? I mean, I've only shown you in this video that you're basically housing a predator in there, so why keep it open, you know? Well, Winksy, you say one thing and then you show me something like this, okay? You said you don't want to be involved in the drama and that you're done with all the SP drama, yet here we are with you with another text saying none of us have. That's the thing. And if Redacted ever releases her version of whatever she was screenshotting, I'll put her on full effing blast. That's bad language, by the way. Myself, under a new Twitter, under my name here, Winks. She forgets she participated in this channel too. What is it, everybody just goes down together? Because it seems like whoever was blocked out in this was the only person who decided to do the right thing. Again, Winks, like, if you didn't want to be dragged into all this stuff, why do you still have this server up? It's not like you're walking up Mount Vesuvius. It's a pretty easy thing to destroy a server, you know? Now, these are the kind of things that make me go, Winks, when I look at a text like this and I see that it says, we have a trustworthy group here. And then someone by the name of Mrs. Pickle says, 100%, some of the things we've said, done in here recently would be really useful to the goth bitches and G's out there, but they haven't gotten any of it. This chat is watertight. To which you respond, Winks, everything said here is public knowledge. Also, we haven't released it to the public, nor do we have the intent to, so he can fuck right off. LOL. Now, Winks, let me ask you, why would you need your Discord to be a watertight Discord if you're not doing anything super sus in it? I also kind of want to tell you, Winks, I think your Discord's got a leak. I guess it's not as watertight as you thought it was. But for real, if you're not doing anything shady, why should you be so worried about what's in it getting out? Again, Winks, I ask you, if you don't want to be wrapped up in this drama, why are you still hosting these people here? Take my Discord, for instance. It's free to everybody. Go to the link, hop in there. All we do is talk about stuff like this. Not this in particular. I mean, sometimes people talk about Scammer Payback, but most of the time we're not doing anything shady. We're not running a gay op out of it. That's for damn sure. So you could come in there and see what a normal Discord should look like. Well, right after I recorded that, look who decided to hop in my Discord server. Not only that, but even though we know who they were, my moderators were still nice enough to welcome them. I think they only left though right after they got in there because we weren't talking about them, and I think that disappointed them. So I hope that you guys really enjoy this video. But by all means, you know, try to recuse yourself from the drama while actively being the host of where all the drama is coming from. This is scary because this is the kind of environment where like people become incredibly radicalized in a Discord like this. And Winks can act like she's not a part of this all she wants, but if I had people in my Discord who were literally starting to radicalize one another with the way they thought, I'd probably get rid of them or the Discord, whatever I had to do to stop it. Because guess what, Winks? If something happens to Pierogi or something happens to Brandon or something happens to Scammer Payback's headquarters, you're going to be getting looked at. Just something to think about. And like I said, you could recuse yourself and say you're not part of the drama, but when you have former moderators like Night Maiden, who was in my previous video, basically saying something like this, knowing I'm leaving SP and totally not me normally to cause trouble, it's fun. I can't get in trouble because it's my last week there. Just causing a little trouble, shaking a few cages. Yes, it's me. And you know that this person is leaving Scammer Payback and they're basically saying to you, hey, I'm gonna go cause mass chaos in the Discord before I leave, and you don't do anything about it. You are just as culpable. You might as well have said that yourself, because it's your Discord. And I want to pose this last question to you again, Winks. Knowing what you know about Collins now and what he was doing in the previous server when he was part of Scammer Payback, knowing how he was aggressively pursuing women who weren't interested, basically looking up information with C. Jones, do you feel comfortable housing those types of people in your Discord? I mean, that's an honest question. Because guess what? If they are doing them shenanigans still and then do something that some people consider crossing the line, you are just as guilty of it because you hosted it in your server. At least that's what I believe the authorities will see. And these are grown-ass men that know better, or at least should know better. All right, so we put the fatality on Collins. We went over the owner of the server that all of this stuff comes from. Who do we talk about next? Well, let's go visit an old friend, Hina, because I think that what I'm about to read to you guys is not only gonna be eye-opening for so many of you who have been familiar with the previous Savannah Marie video, but it's gonna be an absolute bombshell to what her intentions were during that whole entire exchange. So I came across this article from the Tribune, and I want to point out a comment that kind of caught my eye a little bit, and I'm going to read that to you right now. Let me know if this person seems familiar to you. So this article is entitled "The Good Pakistani Wife," and it was written by Benish Tahir from March 25th, 2015. Now, the article goes into a husband who is cheating on his wife in a Pakistani country. Now, the article itself isn't what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is what's underneath the article in the comments section. Take a look at this. Now, I'm blurring out the last name because I don't want to dox this person's last name, but I'm sure by the first name you could tell who this is. This is the famous Hina. Now, I want you to understand, right? The article was about a husband who's cheating. Now, listen to what she had to say. If this was me, I would go out the same night, sleep with another man, take a few hot selfies, and show it to him. Make sure I had access to 911 and a safe house arranged. I would have absolutely no problem being divorced and cheating on him just for revenge. Then I would probably sit on the prayer mat and ask Allah for forgiveness, that the revenge overcame religion. Oh wait, that's because I don't live in Pakistan. I highly doubt if women in Pakistan can get away with this. What word in that reply really sticks out to you guys? Is it perhaps revenge? Could it be that she uses her hot selfies to get what she wants? But more importantly, it's revenge, guys. Clearly you see here that Hina is someone who really truly believes in revenge as a motive for justification. What situation does that remind you of? Just saying. Now, you guys want to watch me bring this whole entire story full circle? In the email I received about Colin's predatory behavior, the woman who he talked to that Collins used to confide in claims that Hina and him used to exchange nudes when Dad Chat was active in 2021. Tell me that is not the most amazing news you've ever heard. It all comes full circle, baby. Collins was getting himself some of that pink buddy action. Oh, I tell you, man, sometimes I absolutely fucking love this job. I gotta admit, I don't really feel like most people expected that coming, but then again, I guess Hina's not really somebody who worries too much about who she sends her pink bunny videos to. I'm telling you, Hina, why don't you just start an OnlyFans? Like, just get it over with, all right? Why are you giving this stuff out for free? Make them pay. I bet you Collins would pay for it. So next I want to talk about somebody who goes by the name Trupti Patel. Trupti's in her name no matter what social media network she kind of works with. Now, Trupti's an interesting case because she has made claims that Pierogi has come onto her, yet hasn't released anything proving that that's the case. So it makes you wonder, like, if you're so against him and you swear that this happened, don't you think that somewhere along the lines you would have taken something to prove that that's true? So I think that she's kind of just like jealous of Hina. Personally, that's what I think. Just to prove that, like, she's somebody who is helping paint this narrative. I do have a couple pieces of evidence that I'll share with you guys here, because, you know, shit ain't shit without no evidence, bruh. So you'll see here that Trupti actually responded to my first video where I responded to Colin's original video. I know it's a whole big mess, but Colin's whole original video is up if you go a couple videos back. But if you see right here, she says, literally made a post about my own experience with P, and this man's deleted it. Anyway, that's the way I read it. Let me just be clear. I don't delete comments on my YouTube channel unless they're like incredibly racist or something like that, which YouTube usually takes down by themselves anyway. Because trust me, if I was going to delete any comments from that video, I would have deleted the horde of comments that were like, you stop too much. I don't care. I'll stop what I want. When I have something I feel I can contribute, I will stop. So this was my only interaction I remember having with Trupti. As you'll see here in this specific post on Discord, she mentions that she tweeted him asking if he knew about ElsaGate. I'm assuming him means the scam baiter that she's like a huge fan of that's not ScammerPayback, which makes me wonder about the intention she has here. Is she like trying to assume that if she could take down ScammerPayback and Pierogi, that somebody else, whoever's community she actually follows, will benefit from that? I'm not sure. But if she's talking about ElsaGate, and you guys have seen the previous video, you know that ElsaGate, those ElsaGate claims regarding Brandon's original channel, DCTC, have been debunked, not only by me, but by the woman that was a part of that channel, Amy Jo. So these are just kind of some things that you can see that they're doing to try to put optics out there. Now, all these messages you're seeing are directly taken from this secret Discord that was supposed to be watertight. Now, again, I want to just point out, I'm not showing this stuff for you to go harass these people. I'm simply trying to show that these people are using this as a coordinated attack against ScammerPayback. Do not go find these people and threaten them or harass them. That is not the mission of this. We are just simply trying to show that there is a campaign out there that is using false optics to try to paint Scammer Payback as like this bad entity that it's clearly not. If we were to go after them and do all the same stuff that they're doing to other people, then we would literally be no better than them, and it would defeat the whole purpose of this video. Because after all, like I said again, you don't want to be like these people here who are literally admitting to harassing Pierogi while he's streaming. Now you may notice someone's named Winter at the top. We're gonna get to her, but Lady Freya was clearly the person who was calling Pierogi while he was streaming. Like, who does that? Why do you hate someone so much that you're like resorting to prank calls? What are you, like 5? Ooh, I called him while he was streaming and he hung up on me. I'm so bad. Again, I'm not trying to make fun of these people, but like, I want you to just take a step back and look at yourselves. Look what you're doing. This is what you've resorted to, all because someone deleted your Discord channel. And at the very root of this, that is why you guys are all mad. He took away your dad chat. Fucking ridiculous. He answered the phone again. I mean, that's what people usually do when you call them, right? They answer. Especially a guy who answers scammers for a living. You might think it's a scammer calling. It's not like you've accomplished some major feat. Yeah, I posted the recording. Oh, wait a minute. Winks, didn't you say you weren't involved with any of this drama stuff and now you're all excited that she's just calling and hanging up on Pierogi? What is it, Winks? Are you in or you out, girl? You can't be both. I swear, man, this Discord is full of just absolute fucking degenerates because look at this. But that does help us out. At Lady Freya, we can confirm it's his number in a clean recording with no voice from you. We do not want to get into harassment territory. If we keep doing this, it will actually border on harassment. And Lady Freya says, I just said hello. Is this... I hate to break it to you guys, but you blew past harassment like long time ago. She's like sitting there being like, you know, if we call him 2 instead of 3 times a day, that might not be considered harassment. I mean, I feel like we're entitled to at least 2 to 3 phone calls a day, but the minute we get to 4, then we're really flirting on the line of disaster. How about you just don't call the guy at all? Wanted to add this last little bit to this video. When I was editing, I kind of realized I forgot this one piece that I thought was like too good to pass up, but apparently they were looking for YouTubers to help tell their story. And I guess they thought Mudahar was somebody who would take on their story, which I'm not sure if they're familiar with Mudahar, but I don't think Mudahar or people like Oompaville would buy this story without any evidence. That's not how they've gotten their notoriety, is through just running with any story anybody tells them. So I just wanted to add this. I thought this was pretty funny. If you see Mudahar somehow come and do this story, I'd be incredibly shocked, because that's just honestly not how that dude rolls. He likes hard facts. In fact, I think he would probably take my side more than anybody else's, that you need some sort of evidence to provide to substantiate any claims you have against a creator. And don't even get me started with Winter, who was a part of that conversation with Freya, because she doesn't hide the fact that she hates Pierogi with almost every single thing she says. I mean, just listen to this comment here. If this doesn't say that we are running a gay up, I don't know what does. Winter. Not only is he dealing with Elsagate and other things, he now has to deal with having to justify why he's removing people randomly from the community. This is now another front that we can use against him if Perky is willing to post it on X. Basically saying, hey, can you tell people that we hate him? Can you help us tell people that he's terrible? We need your help because we don't have anything else. And honestly, if he wants to remove anybody from his community, he can. Why? Because it's his community! What is so hard about this? Also, do you remember the sweet old lady Gypsy Rose who was like, I gave Pierogi all my money because I thought Christ said he was the chosen one? Well, remember how I suggested that she was probably being manipulated and that people were in her ear telling her things that just weren't true? Well, here's proof of that. I literally have what was said to her. When Gypsy Rose joined this server, Winter was like, Gypsy, you deserve all the support right now. 1, we will never tell you what to think. 2, we will never tell you who you should or should not speak with. 3, we will respond to you right away if there is an issue. We will not ignore you. Probably because you're not running a 7 million subscriber YouTube channel. That's what I imagine you probably have all the time. Plus you're habitually on Discord. Of course you have time to answer her. 4, we will do our best to address all your concerns. 5, we will advise you on what we think is the best course of action, but we will not tell you you must listen to us. So if we say something, it's out of what we think is your best interest. Gaslighting much? 6, we care about your well-being, mentality, physicality, financially, socially, all aspects we want to. I'm sorry, but this sounds like complete manipulative bullshit, being like, stay with us, Gypsy, give us your money. We'll be happy to take it, and we'll look out for you because we have nothing better to do. So you're basically saying Pierogi's a jerk because he's not on Discord more. To be honest, I cannot wait for this drama to be over because I've honestly felt like through this whole situation, like a teacher of a kindergarten class where I'm like, no, little Freya, take your finger out your nose. Oh no, Trupty, don't touch that. You could break it. This is the kind of shit that I feel like I'm doing. And these are all adults, but I can't stop covering it because y'all are just going back and reorganizing. Now that Collins is taken out of the picture, you're trying to find new ways to do it. Like the Worthy Payback Twitter is still posting daily about bullshit. Take a look at the post they have today. So if you're curious, most of you guys probably know who Nani is because we were on the Kristen Ark show together when we were talking about this and the gay op that was going on. So now they're going after Nani because Nani doesn't have a social media presence like I do on YouTube where she can come and defend herself publicly. So that's why they're going after her. They also go after the mods of the current Scammer Payback fandom because these people don't have platforms and they know Pierogi's not going to say anything because he just doesn't embrace drama. That's not their style. So what exactly happened here was that while we were on the Kristen Ark stream, I guess Nani at some point accidentally leaked the link for the information that she was gathering on the gay op around Scammer Payback, to which now the Worthy Payback Twitter is acting like there was an outside source that accessed it when in reality they know it was them. So Nani realized that it got deleted and was accessed by someone that wasn't a part of the Kristen Ark stream and started putting copy pasta in there to mess with them. So now they're treating it like she has stolen valor. Nani is a young girl. If you really think that anybody's gonna believe that she was in the Marines as a top 10 sniper, you're crazy. This is the stuff that drives me so nuts about what they do. I mean, it's hard to look at anything else when you have stuff like this to react to online every day. You know, maybe it's just me, but going after Nani and accusing her of acting like she was a sniper in the army when you know that she's like a 20-year-old girl, that stuff just has me dying. And look, you gotta read it. CNET, current editor of Scammer Payback, stopped following Nani today on X after noticing their Google Doc full of damning info was accessed by an outside source. Coincidence? I think not. I mean, like, this is like the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. They really think you're stupid as hell. They really do. I mean, it's amusing. I will admit, it is amusing. But the thing that's scary is anybody with a low IQ may read this and think it's true. That Nani's really out there prancing around like she was a Marine Corps sniper. I mean, like, you can't write this shit. It's friggin' hilarious. I will say, well played, Nani. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. All right, I'm gonna reach out to Nani. I gotta hear her side of this.
So basically, I was aware of all the Scammer Payback controversy back in December, January with Hina, and was on Reddit one day and saw they were accusing Pierogi of faking his videos. Went to go to Twitter, and I'm like, these few accounts here were all created this year. And around the same month. They're all hating on Pierogi, and they're all following and retweeting each other. That's interesting. So basically, I got to investigating, and I was able to find the entire web of accounts listed, who they were following, who was following them, when their accounts were made, and just the more and more I found, it was like, whoa. Wow, okay, a little more than just Hina telling her story here. And they were very proud of it, very sloppy as well, being how connected as they were. If you remember the video, one of their inside jokes was, the explosion, the volcano. A lot of the accounts had those, volcano emojis, or explode, as one of them were. And that account had nearly the same identical handle as the other one. It was just so sloppy. It's so easy to put together. And it's just like, I thought I was a hermit, but damn, these guys really do need to get a life.
So what happened with the doc paper?
So I did a whoopsie daisy, and because I share my doc with multiple creators with anything I investigate. So if they find something, I want them to be able to edit it. Now, I was with the Call on You and Kristen Ark during his stream, and they watched it again, and they copied the URL of my doc, and then put it in, and then deleted everything. Said, oh well, and then put the Rick Astley on there. And I'm like, okay, this is war. Nobody actually really cares. I'm just surprised.
What are they talking about with your, where they're saying that you're doing stolen valor?
So that's the funniest shit, because it's literally just, it's fucking copy pasta. Such a famous one at that. What the fuck did he say? What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduate top of my class. Navy SEALs. They're like, this is stolen valor. That's a crime. And I'm like, I wish I was able to do all this stuff. My body is like the body of an 80-year-old. I wish I could have been Navy SEAL fighting Al Qaeda. Jesus.
So just for the record, you claim that you never were a Navy SEAL? Top sniper?
Never. The autism in of itself would just have me turned away anyways.
All right, well, thank you, Nani. I just wanted to clear that up because they were trying to make it sound like you were intentionally trying to mislead them, but it sounds like you were just kind of trolling them with these copy pastas.
Yeah, like I just put a bunch of them on the Google Doc, and they, were like, "Oh, does the cat meow?" and shit like that. And I ended up last fit was just the entire B movie script. They were mad about that, and then the one final version of that where it's like, I graduated at the top of Japan with the fucking Death Note, and they're still mad that that's still stolen valor. And me threatening violence. So, no, they can live their lives. That's okay.
I think it's beautiful that you put the entire script of the B movie in there.
I mean, it's a classic. Oh, and they stick bugged them too at the end.
I bet you they went through it to see if they could find anything. They're so desperate to find any piece of evidence against Scammer Payback, they probably went through that entire script of the movie.
Yeah. Like, I had deleted everything at that point. I mean, I did like a really, stupid, Grabify link. Because, that's Grabify. It's really easy to find out. But it's like, oh, they're dumb enough to click it. Who cares? Said, that was an own on me. I'm like, okay, I already know other information. It doesn't matter, really.
I love that they try to sell it like a external source access to your thing, like they didn't do it themselves.
No, like I said, I share it with a few creators, behind the scenes, and I just find it easier with lots of ADHD because, all the girlies nowadays, they got something going on, right? I just find it easier to put everything together, and considering just the nature of all of this, doing this, I'm like, okay, let me just put all the information there. So God forbid if they start going after anyone else, at least we have that there.
I applaud your ability to troll. It was next level.
Yeah. I'm chronically online as well. It does not faze me. I do not care.
Well, thank you so much, Nani. I really appreciate you taking the time to clear that up with me.
Of course. My pleasure.
Again, I mean, this is the stuff that they have going on out there trying to paint Scammer Payback badly. I mean, it's not really a threat when you think about it because of how obviously BS it is, but you just never know what people are going to think. And I mean, a perfect example is listening to Nani. They painted it like there was some exterior factor that hacked into that when in reality it was just them, and Nani had left the link up on screen. It was a simple mistake, but they tried to twist it into some kind of espionage plot because it sounds better. Because when you don't have any evidence of someone actually being a monster, the best thing you could do is try to create the narrative around intention to make it more insidious, if that makes sense. Up until now, you've met so many different participants that helped out in trying to paint this narrative that Scammer Payback is some evil entity that does actually horrible things instead of the actual good they do. But there's two people who we haven't really focused on a whole lot, and these are the two leaders of this whole entire thing: Charlie Echo Alpha and C. Jones. These are the two leaders. These are the mom and the dad of all the haters that are attacking Scammer Payback. So if you don't know who Charlie Echo Alpha and C. Jones are, Charlie Echo Alpha was one of the biggest donators or contributors to Scammer Payback and was there to give a lot of money when Scammer Payback was still growing. Before you say, hey, that was such a good thing of her to do, I want you to just press the brakes for a second, because the main reason behind her donating so much was for notoriety. It wasn't because she wanted to save people. It's because she wanted opportunities and recognition within Scammer Payback's community. Now, with C. Jones, it was a little different. It was a much more technical aspect of it. I'm sure that he probably donated some money, but he takes credit for saying that he taught Pierogi everything he knows, which people who have been close to Pierogi that I spoke with said Pierogi kind of knew what he was doing the whole time. Did he learn stuff along the way? Of course, but that's just like what anybody would do in a journey. So these were two of the biggest fans of all time, now turning and becoming two of the biggest anti-fans of all time. And mostly it's surfaced from them, I guess, losing notoriety as Scammer Payback grew bigger, and they just wanted to be bigger parts of it. And then I guess somewhere along the line, they just didn't get what they wanted, and eventually just were like, you know what, screw you. But what I really think happened is that these two are incredibly close, And with C. Jones doing some of the sus shit that he was doing in the Discord, Pierogi had to figure out a way to minimize that sus behavior and probably started like relegating C. Jones. Plus, you saw in my previous video, C. Jones would always battle Brandon on everything. So he kind of like isolated himself from the community. And Charlie Echo Alpha, I don't know if there's like something there that maybe she's got a crush on C. Jones or something. I don't know, but maybe something was there between them. And she was upset about C. Jones being released from the Discord and thus followed afterwards. All right, so now that you know who these two people are, let's take a look at some of the things that they have done behind the scenes just to really show you that they are the ones that are actually calling the shots here. So I believe in this situation in the Discord, Charlie Echo Alpha had doxed a former employee of Pierogi's. So this is basically Gypsy Rose being like concerned about that. Gypsy Rose responds to Charlie Echo Alpha by saying, if it makes anyone uncomfortable, I can remove the link to his whatever. And Gypsy Rose says, I sent a very short email wishing him the best, to which Charlie Echo Alpha responds, I took it down. I certainly don't want to endanger or upset anyone. Oh, well, that seems nice. So she doesn't want to endanger or upset anyone unless it's Pierogi or anybody involved with Scammer Payback in any way whatsoever. To which Winks adds, no one was upset. Nobody was upset that we doxed this guy. Why are you getting upset, Gypsy Rose? See, that's why I think that Gypsy Rose might have like still a little bit of humanity in him and she's just falling victim to these people's manipulation. I mean, hell, even I made it into this Discord because of my previous video, which I haven't seen, go check it out, but I don't think Charlie Echo Alpha likes me too much. How do I know that? Well, I mean, this sums up 2 points, all right? It's one, it shows that Charlie is in charge of who does what, and she was the one behind Collins pushing him to make his videos. But just listen to this. No need to make a reaction video. You would be reacting to nothing from nowhere. I know, because my hour-and-a-half long video full of evidence was nothing to react to. At Collins 1981. The guy from earlier. E.G. lately is a fucking nobody. If he fucks with me, I will crush him. Love you, Gypsy Rose. I guess this is me fucking with you, Charlie. You know, I find it funny though, Charlie, that you always send these threatening letters to people who don't have a platform to defend themselves on. But for some reason, I've invited you and C. Jones several times, open invite, to come and show me evidence you have proving that Scammer Payback is this horrible entity, yet you guys always end up just trying to make fun of me instead. Usually, that is a sign that you don't have much evidence. That's at least what I would do. I've been nothing but respectful to you guys this whole entire time. Do I point out that your behavior is incredibly disappointing for adults? Yeah, I do. Do I point out that I'm incredibly disappointed that you guys never provide any evidence? You guys just say things? Yes, I do. Am I annoyed that the guy that you chose to represent your whole entire group was basically a predator? Yeah, I am. But you know what? I'm not unfair. I've been fair this whole time. I've told you guys, even when I was in my live video, that if you guys give me evidence, I'll happily take a look at it. And if my opinion changes, it changes. But you guys haven't presented anything. But the people who are for Scammer Payback give me mountains and mountains of evidence to prove their innocence. Where is that from your side? You can accuse me of being a lot of things, but you can't accuse me of being unfair, Charlie. And I don't know how you're gonna crush me, try to get my channel taken down or something, but what is that gonna prove? It might be a lot easier for you to get my channel taken down than to get SP's channel taken down because I'm a much smaller creator. But all I'm doing is asking you to put your money where your mouth is. That's it. If that makes me a bad guy, then I guess that makes me a bad guy. But I personally think that what they're doing is worth saving. And I don't understand how, yes, you didn't get the notoriety you wanted to from Scammer Payback, but the money you gave to them still helped save so many people. How can you sit there and be so upset about that? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'll be the first to admit, I do not take pride in putting you guys all on blast. I just think that this behavior is something that you guys need to take a look at and realize that what you're doing is not very mature. And I think that your time could be invested going after people who actually deserve it. Go after Johnny Somali or something, like somebody who deserves it, somebody who's actually doing terrible shit. But you're going after a guy who literally helps elderly people. I mean, come on, what am I supposed to do here, Charlie? And then I get letters and emails from people saying that, you know, somebody came to you looking for help and you just basically ignored them. C. Jones not only ignored them, but gave Collins information on how to find these people. Like, this is not very good behavior. Regardless if the pandemic was going on or not, this is stuff that you need to be looking at and addressing and maybe finding some internal growth that you guys can have. Do I think you're all bad people? No, I don't. I honestly don't. Maybe Collins is. Okay, Collins is a bad guy, but the rest of you seem to have just gotten caught up in a complete misunderstanding and you guys have lost the plot. And no, I'm not talking about this plot right here where you say there's a plot afoot, like where you basically say, I'm still coming up with things on how to take down Pierogi. Like, just stop that shit. So whatever you do to go after Scammer Payback next, just understand this video is just meant to show that it's a bunch of people who don't really have a whole lot of evidence and just have a lot of emotion, a lot of anger. I'm sorry you're angry. I'm sorry that you felt like your time in Scammer Payback was wasted. However, I look at someone who donated a lot of money to Pierogi and Scammer Payback and helped make him the person he is today, who's able to help so many people. That's something I'd be proud of personally. And you had a hand in that, Charlie. Whether you feel wronged or not, you had a hand in creating that. C. Jones, you had a hand in creating that. Everybody that's in that Discord who was once a supporter of Scammer Payback, you guys all had a hand in helping him help people. That is something you should be incredibly proud of. I don't understand why you guys are so angry and why there's so much hate built up inside you that you feel like you need to take them down. Anyway, I think that's a good place to leave. I have so much more. I could literally sit here for hours just showing you guys evidence, but I'm not trying to hurt people. That is not my goal with this video. My goal is just to bring attention to a narrative that is probably not very true and not very honest. And Lord knows if I was Pierogi, I'd want someone doing the same thing for me. In a world where there's so many bad people, I think it may be time to focus our attention on people who may deserve the criticism and not so much focus on the people who don't. Now, am I saying that Pierogi deserves no criticism? Absolutely not. He knows he messed up though. He's trying to do what he can to grow from that. Do I think that that makes that guy deserve to be taken off the internet and destroy everything he's worked for the past 10 years? Absolutely not. He's a human being. The most beautiful thing about being human beings is that we make mistakes, we learn from them, and then we move forward trying to do better. That's all anybody could ever ask of you. But what I see is a bunch of angry people seeking revenge, and I don't understand why this is so important to you. Anyway, that's why I didn't really try to make this video as funny as my previous videos. Because at the end of the day, this is a very serious topic. Like, it started off with us all talking about somebody who really felt uncomfortable at the hands of Collins. And now it's ending with a bunch of people who just are really angry at each other. Well, at least one side that's angry at one side. I don't know how Pierogi feels about y'all. I'm sure he's disappointed. But if you were to ask me, I'd probably say he's probably feeling a little more heartbroken than anything. That so many people who looked up to him and helped him get to where he's at, whether they had a large impact or a small impact, or looking at him like he's a monster, and that's gotta suck. Anyway guys, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to keep it shorter than the last one because the last one was just like incredibly too long and there was a lot of filler that probably didn't need it. So I tried to make this one short, sweet, and to the point. And by short, I guess as short as I could make it. An hour is still a long video, but I also want to thank Nani for being a part of this video and helping clarify what was going on with that worthy payback tweet. Link to her Twitter will be in the description below. Go give her a follow. For all you who sat here and watched this and came along for this ride, I really appreciate that. This is probably going to be the last video I do on the Scammer Payback situation, unless some massive thing comes out, then we'll revisit it. But for right now, I feel like I've done my job showing exactly what's going on with this, inevitably leaving it to you to decide who is right and wrong in the situation. They always say there's three sides to every story. There's their side, and then there's the actual truth. And it's not so black and white. But if I'm going off of the evidence that I've been able to look through, it definitely seems like Scammer Payback is not guilty of the crimes that they're being accused of. With that said, guys, I'll see you on the next one. If you want to see the video that recaps what happened in the Discord that started this whole shit show, I suggest clicking right here.